Hi, everybody. I have got our friend Traci from St. Louis with us. Yay. Hey, Traci.
Hey,
So,
hey, hey.
so glad that you could join us. And you were just telling me some Matthew McConaughey stories. So I would love for you to share.
Okay, so big fan of Matthew McConaughey. I think that the opportunity to hear like this deep thinking, and I don't know if he like, gets
I agree.
completely stoned or what before he does his deep thinking, but the stuff he comes up with, like for me, is like so motivating to be a good human.
Yeah.
And so when I saw on Facebook, of course I'm thumbing through Facebook, the art of living, and I thought, you know what, I could get some work done while I'm listening to Matthew, look at him a little bit because that's not bad, and
Beauty for sure.
and just kind of play hooky for 4 hours. So that's what I did today, just
Oh.
before this.
Was it good?
It was so good. There were things about it that weren't so good, like when they launch into the, oh, and by the way, you can join our coaching. And yeah, that wasn't so it for me. But I felt like it was a really good message. I took some notes, which is great.
Yeah.
I'm a big note taker. I love paper. Do you
Yeah.
love paper?
Yes, I love paper too. Although I did buy a Remarkable. Are you familiar?
I have a Remarkable, and I'm having a really hard time feeling comfortable enough with it to
Uh,
grab it like when I need to write something quickly, you know?
So my problem is I do grab it now. I grab it all the time. I've been using it for almost a year, and the issue is that honestly sometimes I can't find the things. So your office kind of looks like my office too, and I know where everything is, no matter what kind of pile it's in. So it's a little bit tricky because now instead of grabbing a yellow sheet of paper, orange sheet of paper, pink sheet of paper, whatever, and writing notes on it and putting it exactly where I know, putting it in the Remarkable. And I currently have like 37 notebooks and I can't find anything.
I know, right?
So
So
it is,
Nicole,
it
my
is
assistant,
difficult.
is fantastic at it. And she's like, Trace, really, you need to lean into the Remarkable. It's remarkable. And
Yeah.
Kendall Bonner was the one that initially got me thinking about this Remarkable. She's like, it is a life changer. It changed my life. I am completely paperless now. And I was really drawn to that. I really desperately wanted to be paperless, but
Mhm.
I think maybe it's my age. I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
just
you
like
and I.
so attached to paper. Thus,
I'm attached to paper too. I start going to listing appointments now and use the Remarkable, which is awesome. Hey, Sia, saying hey to us.
see
Um,
ya.
but I do like the Remarkable. I will take it to listing appointments and have them sign all their paperwork with the Remarkable, and then I'm able to email it to myself and my admin pretty
Oh,
immediately, which is awesome. It also
hi,
does keep me
Shelby.
from losing things. Couple, look, Shelby loves her Remarkable, but it does. It's funny because now the other day I was looking for a pen, and because I no longer really use pens a lot, I was struggling finding a pen because I usually just use my Remarkable. So it's bittersweet. I do lose things within the Remarkable. Now they're not lost in my car, but they're lost in 37 notebooks of chaos.
I
It
feel
is
like
what it is.
if I leaned into my Remarkable a little bit more, maybe my car wouldn't be such a mess.
Yeah, that's funny. I would tell you the reason I got the Remarkable, and this is no promo for Remarkable. It just happened to be that we're talking about it.
Yeah,
Um, instead of an iPad. So I also have an iPad.
I do
But
too.
the thing I like about the Remarkable is because it does not connect to any of my devices. So I'm
Mhm.
actually able to use it as pencil and paper. When I was using the iPad, I was getting very distracted. It was too
Mhm.
much for me.
Right.
Which is also why I don't wear the Apple Watch because I
I
can't.
don't either.
Yeah, I don't like all the. I mean, I get enough of that every single day, every single minute that I
Mhm.
need a break in my real life to actually
Yes.
help clients and talk to you and do all the things I need to do without the distracting of the phone and the iPad and the iWatch and all of that
So,
craziness.
we were talking just before we started about the universe, right? And this push me pull you feeling that I have, that the universe is pushing us and pulling us in so many different directions. And I think that technology, I need to turn this thing over all the time. Turned off the little light that flashes, and I turned off notifications because I was being pulled in so many directions simultaneously that I found myself unable to really focus on what I was doing until
Oh,
I turned it all off.
I
I can't do
100%.
the watch. And people tell me all the time, Trace, seriously, you need the watch. I don't.
Well, what ends up happening then when I'm with clients and my phone's beeping every single 5 seconds, then I'm distracted between looking at that and then I'm not really listening. So it's
Right.
important.
We need to make that connection.
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
So tell me about the market in St. Louis. What's it going
Okay,
like?
so I hear a lot about what's going on in various parts of the country, and I'm hearing a lot of agents say that their business is really down and trying to get a buyer or trying to get under contract or trying to get somebody to list. I'm super blessed. I mean, I've got listings like flying at me left and right, and I feel like I've set the background in motion for all these listings to be coming to me. I'm super blessed. I mean, I recognize that. And I think the changing point for me, that maybe some other agents in St. Louis are not feeling, is that I did set in motion a plan to connect with past clients. And I know people hate hearing past clients, right? I mean, Jared told us, right? Don't call them past clients. I just struggled. What do I call them then? Anyhow,
They end up being my friends, right?
yes,
So
they're my
they
friends.
go from clients to friends for me.
Yes, yes. So I totally agree with you. So I'm hearing a lot of the market has slowed, and I'm not feeling that myself.
Girl, I'm with you. I mean, if you look at our data for our area, prices have continuously gone up. They're still
Yep.
going up, but the number of sales have gone down. But me
Right.
personally, I'm up considerably from where I was last year. Not necessarily every single person on my team, but I'm just talking about me personally. The team's up too overall, but I agree. I think right what you put out there and what you're doing.
I think so too.
What are you doing for past clients or your
So
friends,
I
clients
do.
slash friends?
Yeah, my past friends, my current friends,
Yeah,
my current extended family.
yeah, 100%.
So, it's really again about the plan, right? Planning for how I'm going to communicate with them, planning for how I'm going to get together with them. Like for instance, for Easter, I egged some clients, right,
Oh,
that have littles, and I put on bunny ears, and I go out and I disperse eggs all over the front yard, and then put a sign that says "You've been egged by your favorite realtor," and then it's got a Bitmoji of me with the bunny ears, and and that's super fun, and that generated a ton of social media content as well. And they were like loving back on me, which was great for me. Best realtor ever, blah, 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 and you love hearing stuff like that because it validates the hard work that we put into this business. Right. And we all need that mindset shift sometimes. Right. I'm very fortunate. Our area code here is 314. So on March 14th, Pi Day, I celebrated by inviting my clients, my friends to a local pizza shop, and bought pizza for everybody. Right. So we celebrated Pizza Pie Day.
Yeah, that's good.
So that was
how many events do you think you do a year?
So we currently do 6 events a year. One of them is, hey, Robert. One of them is a CMN specific fundraiser, which last year I was able to raise $10,000 for CMN and be the #1 agent in St. Louis for CMN, which is awesome.
Tell us what CMN is.
I'm sorry?
Tell everybody what that is.
Children's Miracle Network. So I am a miracle agent. You guys might have seen me handing out miracle agent stickers and window clings at R4. This year is all about CMN for me. And so we've done a t-shirt fundraiser that we set, a really low, I think, goal to sell 50 of these t-shirts that say "Making Miracles Happen." And we sold 71. So that was great. Raised, I think, $660 for CMN, something like that. So Children's Miracle Network for me has become a great talking point with my clients, with my
what an awesome organization to give back to. Holy cow.
Absolutely. I love that it stays local, and I love the opportunity to have like really good, deep conversations with
Mhm.
my clients about it. I've got several clients that have their kids have spent a lot of time at Children's Hospital here in St. Louis. So, they love the fact that I give back a portion of my commissions to
Mhm.
CMN, and it makes it just really effortless for me to have deeper conversations than just sell a house with me, buy a house with me.
That's right. That's
Right.
right.
And
How
I think
important
that's a
that
really
is.
important part. That's an important part of developing a relationship, right?
Yeah,
Finding that commonality with somebody that is outside of a house.
that's right. That's right. I agreed. I totally agreed.
Yeah.
So then with you, you personally are seeing, you're not really seeing a different, you are super busy, you've got listings, but what does like your data show as far as your area?
Okay.
Or is it reflective of what you're seeing?
So the data does show that we've slowed a little bit in the number of sales. However, like you said, we are not seeing home prices come down. Had a little bit of ridiculousness this weekend. New listing came on the market, a little cabin on 2.37 acres, listed for 255. I actually had an agent from another brand send me an offer $115,000 below list price.
So what's your average sales price then? Like
So
what is
average
that? Is
sales
it
price is
listed
right
price?
around 250 for the greater St. Louis area. Now, of course, we've got pockets that
Yeah.
are lower and pockets that are higher, but I would say 250, 255 is right around the median for us.
No. And so then that listing, it was listed pretty accurately, it sounds
Oh,
like.
very accurately.
Yeah.
There was a 2-bedroom, 2-bath log cabin about 7 miles away from that sold for 360. And
Mm.
granted, it had 2 more acres with it, but you
Well,
know,
you can't find anything with acreage here.
yeah.
Believe me.
Yeah. Well, acreage has become very popular, obviously, since
Mhm.
COVID. And anytime that I get an opportunity to list something with acreage, I'm like, yeah, bring it.
Yeah. Yeah. So ours is proximity to the beach, really, is what
Mhm.
people move here for. So we do, I mean, people do want acreage. We just don't have a lot of acreage.
Right.
It's harder to find here. That's
Right.
awesome, though. I
So,
might,
in town, we don't have a lot of acreage in town. I live in Festus, which is about 22 miles south of St. Louis.
wow.
But I go all the way up into St. Louis and North St. Louis and West, and I have a really big area that I cover.
Does
So
that make it hard?
it makes it very hard from the standpoint of loving on my past clients, being able to get to all of them and
Yeah. Your
feel like,
eggs. How long did that
yes.
take you? Holy cow.
Yeah. So I've got one listing right now that's 45 minutes from me. I've got a listing that's an hour and 5 minutes from me. So
Yeah.
servicing those listings takes some planning,
Absolutely.
takes some time. And so I try to use that time that I'm driving. Hey, Brenda, try to use that time that I'm driving to connect by the phone
Yeah.
with my past
That's
clients.
right.
So I'm really leaning into connecting to my extended family that has done business with me.
Yeah. No, it sounds like you're doing a great job. And I use my drive time too. I service about an hour in all directions from me,
Mhm.
but I use that time wisely
Right.
too and try to make sure that I plan out who I'm going to call and get all
Yes,
that organized so I'm not just spent all this time in the
absolutely.
car wasted.
Absolutely. So I know that I am an extroverted introvert. Okay. I love people. I love being in front of people. I love chatting with people. But then again, I love my me time. So I don't mind driving an hour, or I've even gotten, hey Derek, I just got a couple of my sellers who are now buyers, obviously, under contract 2 hours and 14 minutes away from my home.
Holy cow. Now, is it hard learning the market that far? There's no way I would not go 2 hours. That puts me into Raleigh, North Carolina, which I can honestly say I went to high school in Raleigh, but I would not know enough about the real estate market to even pretend to
So
service
the
an
thing
agent
is,
in Raleigh.
I'm a big data nerd, right?
Mm,
So, I mean, we realistically can find out all the information that we need to make a smart decision with our clients, just by the data.
yeah,
If we have at least the opportunity of the time, which for 2 years we didn't have that time,
yeah, right.
you
That's right.
know. So I was a little closer to home during that 2 years of COVID, just because I didn't have the time really to do a lot of research for my clients to make smart
Right.
decisions.
No, that's awesome. So then you're saying your inventory, what's your inventory like there?
So our inventory is really not terrible. It's terrible in certain price points.
Yeah.
So I feel really bad for our first-time home buyers because, they can't afford new construction is literally starting at 300 around here. So they can't afford new construction. And those young people, even though I coach them, look for the house with wallpaper, they want all the whiz bang and all of the, shiny objects that come with new construction. And I'm like, no. Think about this. Buy the house with wallpaper. Invite your friends over. Get a couple of pizzas, a 12-pack of beer. Turn on the music. Make memories, and really own your house. And then that's the house that becomes the investment property that you can have ching mailbox money. So I have this conversation with my buyers all the time. I really like the opportunity to show them the pathway to making money and generational wealth in real estate. I mean, that's a big part of what I talk about with my young people.
That's right. Well, it's important because that is what they do. You're helping them start the generational wealth.
Right.
That's what my oldest daughter bought a house 2 years ago, and she's only 23. But she already has $200,000 equity in it. That's
fantastic. That is fantastic. And none of her friends, or very few of her friends, are in that position.
That's exactly right.
She's so fortunate to have a mom that can speak to things like generational wealth and the importance of generational wealth with her. And realistically, I feel like I should be doing a class at the local high school, how to build generational wealth. Do you know what generational wealth is? How can we help you become the 5%er,
Let's start. So what are the 3 tips that you can advise? Like if you were standing in front of that high school gymnasium with all the kids, what would you say?
Well, I think I would start off.
I'm sorry to put you on the spot. I'm just going with
that is putting me on the spot, and I was not at all prepared for this. I think I would start off by asking them straight up, who here would like to not ever worry about money? Yeah. Because that's a valuable question, right? Yeah, and we are very fortunate that what we do, we make a stupid amount of money. I mean, realistically, sometimes not enough, arguably, but we have the opportunity to make a ridiculous amount of money. So I would then ask them, is it more important to you to have the biggest television of all of your friends or the newest car of all of your friends, or is it more important to never worry about money in your life? So I think that I would address it with questions to them. Yeah. And let's have a really deep conversation. Now, if I'm talking to an entire auditorium, I'm going to have a different aspect about it. Yeah. But the reality is that they don't think that way. And someone needs to help them start thinking that way when they're young.
That's right.
Right? Because we've fallen into this mentality in our country. And I think our culture needs to change this mentality that some people have because they're lucky and the rest of us don't have.
Right.
When the reality is
based off of flashy cars and instead of putting it in the bank and buying the house.
Absolutely.
For the long-term investment. That's smart.
Or if you're pre-approved for $300,000, you buy a house for $305 because you can talk your lender into going to $305. It makes no sense.
Right.
Right. We all shouldn't have the top of everything on day one. We should work up to having the greatest and having the nicest and having the more. Right.
Baby steps.
I think the number one tip that I would give an auditorium of high schoolers is love the fact that you have money and hold on to it, right? Save. So I raised my boys that when their grandparents gave them a check for their birthday or a check for Christmas or whatever, they were allowed to spend 1/2 of that check on whatever they wanted. The other half went in their savings account for something that they're going to want later, right? Yeah. So teach them how to save. The second thing I would teach them, would advise them is protect your credit. You know what? Credit card companies are more than happy to give you free. It seems like free.
Yeah, right. Right.
Dude, you don't need that. You do need a credit card. You do need to use that credit card for gas only. Don't use it in McDonald's. Don't use it for tennis shoes. Don't use it for those expendable things that that are not going to bring money back to you, use it wisely. Only on the
So
things that you absolutely have to have, pay it down, leaving $5 on that credit card every single time. You know, we are taught incorrectly to pay off our credit cards every single month.
Right.
By leaving $5 on there, I mean, it's really a brilliant trick. They make a couple of pennies, and the credit card companies only need to make a couple of pennies from a lot of people to be perfectly happy.
Right.
But if you pay it off, they're not making any money. They don't raise your credit score.
Right. And I told my kids, you know, everything I read, that whatever your max spend is, if it's $500, you should only use 1/3 of that. Right. And then you like you said, buy gas, almost pay it off by gas, but never let it get above half. Because I do think that's the slippery slope when people start getting in trouble.
Because they feel like it's free money. You don't feel yourself taking it out of your wallet and counting it out and saying, oh gosh, I only have this much left, right?
That's
you don't
right. I try to tell my
that.
kids, if you can't afford that pair of shoes or that shirt or that outfit, you don't need to be buying it. Because you put it on credit, instead of it being $100 pair of shoes, all of a sudden now it's $150 to $200.
That's right.
If you wait to pay it off, right?
That's right.
It could be a slippery slope.
And you know, the other thing that I would tell them too is find a mentor, that someone that you feel strongly has achieved a goal or goals that you find important to you for your future self, right? Because I think too many young people don't have a mentor that they can follow closely and replicate what they're doing. So I think finding a mentor is a really important part of getting on the pathway to home ownership, to financial freedom, to generational wealth, and all of those things. And I think that's a conversation that young people really need to have.
I 100% agree. And a lot of times they don't know where to start. So, I mean, where would you say, like if I was in high school and I came to you and I was like, Traci, where do I start?
Yeah. Well, let's sit down and have a cup of coffee or a soda and let's talk about it. Right?
Start with saving, right? Start saving as much.
Start saving. Stop spending and start saving.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? I mean, it's so important.
Yeah. And that's what I tell my kids every time you go by Starbucks, how much are you paying for that coffee? Do you really need that coffee? Because I mean,
at Panera Bread, you can get the unlimited sip club for $10 a month.
Yeah, wow.
Starbucks is literally across the street from Panera Bread. I don't go to Starbucks. Yeah. I go $10 a month and I'll go in twice a day.
See, that's smart. It's all these different ways. You're right. That you can save that money to put towards your house. So you do have generational wealth.
That's right.
I think that's awesome, Traci. So so I know what you would tell your first time home buyers. And then what kind of information would you give like your sellers? Is it a time to sell in your market?
So it's a great time to sell in our market. We have probably 10 or 11 buyers for every house right now. And probably more than that when you get below the 250 range. I got 12 contracts on a townhouse, perfectly priced for first-time home buyers, because they don't need to take care of a lot of yard. They don't need a lot of extra bedrooms, but this one happened to be a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom townhouse, 12 offers on it. So when we accepted the one, which by the way was not the highest dollar amount offer, okay, so terms are very important. We had 11 buyers then that were disappointed and crying that night. We go out to that neighborhood and say, we've got 11 buyers that got disappointed, that literally want to buy in this neighborhood. So that's the conversation that we have with our team to generate more listings.
That's good. So are you sending them letters or are you calling that?
Door knock. I am a huge fan of take the time and go and have a face-to-face conversation with people. And it's funny because people have said to me, it's interesting how, Traci, you view every single person that you talk to, whether it's in line at the grocery store or, at the car wash or whatever, you view every single person as a potential client.
That's right.
Right? So for me, I know that I'm much better when I'm nose to nose, toes to toes with people that can sign stuff. For me on the phone, I can generate them coming into the office, but I'm a big fan of CITO, come into the office. right?
That's
Because
exactly.
we can have a completely different conversation when they are face to face with me.
That's right.
Right. So everything that I do is generating that nose to nose, toes to toes with people who can sign stuff. So to that, I want to show you guys something. This would be the leads that I got from hosting my subdivision yard sale this last weekend.
Wow.
I don't know if you've seen it on Facebook or not, but I go Facebook
Now
Live.
I'm going to go look at it.
Yeah, I go Facebook Live. I call them purge parties. Okay, this is literally how I started connecting my name to real estate when I started in real estate 8 years ago. So I host subdivision yard sales and I call them purge parties. And I stand at the entranceway to the subdivision with the list of addresses. Everybody has to register with me, and I collect their name, phone number, address, of course, and their email. And I get them their permits because our town requires permits. They're $1 a piece. Okay. So I had 12 sellers this weekend. I have a standard template that I just plug in all the addresses of everybody that's selling. I greet every single shopper that's coming into the subdivision with this sheet with all the addresses, and people are like, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. I said, well, this is how I do my purge parties. Welcome to the purge party. So I also hand them a form to fill out. Now, these are the shoppers. So what do we know about sellers who are selling? I mean, who are selling at a yard sale? They are purging their house of crap that they don't need.
Smart.
Is it to sell? Is it, just because they have too much stuff? Is there a life experience that they need more room in their house? What we know, and Nick Bailey said, at R4, hi, Amory, that one thing that we definitely know is that people buy and sell houses based on life experiences, right? Things that are happening in their lives. If they are purging their house of stuff they don't need anymore, there's a life experience happening in there. So I have an 8-touch system that I use for connecting with the sellers that are selling at the yard sales for before, during, and after the yard sale. And then I have a system with these as well. And so these ask the question, are you thinking of buying a home? Or are you thinking of selling a home? Yes or no? Simple, right? Yeah. Would you like to be a part of my closed Facebook group just for yard sales?
Oh, wow.
So what am I doing? I'm serving without asking them for anything.
Right.
And then I give one lucky shopper $100.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I pick one. So my budget for the entire thing, including the color ad in the local paper, including going, hey, Mark, including going on Facebook Live and going into Marketplace and saying, hey, purge party Saturday, that kind of thing. My all-in cost with the $100 a week, and I do this for 6 weekends, is less than $1,000.
So do you do the same neighborhood for 6 weekends?
No. I have 7 different neighborhoods that I farm, okay? And I have closed Facebook groups for all of those neighborhoods. And some of the neighborhoods are large enough that they get their own weekend, but every weekend in a row, I have another purge party. And I have literally people carry this ad that I put in the local paper for the entire 6 weeks.
Wow.
So my name, my face is in their car with them. And they look at it several times. Where's the purge party this weekend? Right. And I mean, it's like, it's brilliant. I got 4 leads. I got 4 leads from the people that, and of course I got 67, 68, something like that. People filled out their information. They were willing to give me all their information. Now I can put them into my CRM to start giving them information about the market, about, what's going on. Because like Jared said, we need to reach them where they are, right?
That's awesome. So for your purge parties, so you identify the neighborhood. And then what do you do? Then
I'll give you guys the big rundown. When I started, I was in a business where I was traveling 2 or 3 weeks out of every month. So like, even though I had lived in this town for 15 years, 18 years, nobody knew me because I was gone so much, right? So I had to connect myself to real estate. And so I started by designing these, and I think it was before anybody else really figured out they could do it, closed Facebook groups just for the subdivision. So I posted like 20 different things in this closed group before I ever invited a soul. Okay. And then the last thing that I posted was, we're having a subdivision yard sale. Okay. So here's how you sign up. You just let me know right here, or you send me a text, and I'll get your permit. I'll place signs. I'll place an ad. All you have to do is purge it, price it, and put it out to sell. Right.
Wow.
So every single time I kind of like upped my game a little bit. I'm now handing out a pen with my information on it with these forms. So they try and hand me the pen back. I'm like, no, you keep that pen, because I don't want you to forget about me. And they're like, we would never forget about you. So, like every time I just up the game one more little notch. Right. Awesome. So I advertise it on the closed Facebook groups long before, like 2 months before we're going to have the purge party. And then I remind them 2 weeks out, and then I remind them 1 week out. And hey, tomorrow I'm getting the permits. Is anybody else in? And like one of my larger subdivisions, I will routinely have 30 or 35 yard salers. So it's a great way to get connected with these people. And I probably get 1 or 2 listings out of one of those 7 subdivisions in the spring and in the fall.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Two listings every month and a half, just from giving back and meeting people, and you're adding to your database. That's super smart.
Nose to nose, toes to toes with people who can sign stuff and collecting names. Right.
And that's a little bit out of the box. So I definitely hear, the door knocking, the phone calls, the mailers. I mean, I've been in the business 17 years, so you kind of see it all. But I haven't heard anybody doing the purge parties, which I may have to figure out how to adopt from you.
Well, I've got a whole PowerPoint program that I'm happy to share with anybody that wants it. If you guys just text me,
send it to me.
I'll send that to you. Absolutely.
And then quick question, how do you do, I know how to do a closed Facebook group, but how do you identify the closed Facebook group per neighborhood, right?
Okay, great question. So what I did was I just went into Facebook and I typed in Alexander Heights. Okay. So any of the pages or groups or whatever that had Alexander Heights, that's where I live. And then I just looked to see, was there a group that already existed? Even if there was a group that already existed, I didn't care, because I was going to create the feels of this group myself. So it's always uber positive. I've had agents ask me, well, do you monitor the comments in there and not allow some comments or whatever? I don't have to, because I'm super positive, and everything that I'm posting in there, hey, we've got a festival this weekend. Hey, this new place opened up in town, and, or such and such is having a sale, or, just really positive things. And magically what has happened is community has come together. Right. So I'll have people say, hey, I'm dividing the irises in my yard, and I've got bags of 6 bulbs down at the end of my driveway, free for anybody that wants them.
That's sweet.
Yeah. Or this pup is on my front porch. He doesn't have a name tag, but I feel like he might belong to somebody in the neighborhood, and we'll get together and take care of it. Or hey, I just my youngest just stopped using the crib and went to a big boy bed. Does anybody need a crib?
Right.
So
it's helpful. They just come together.
Yeah. So everybody really comes together, and in one of these neighborhoods, I have 78% of the business.
Wow. That's awesome. So then even if they have if a neighborhood already has a Facebook site, then you're still creating a separate one.
I still create one. So I call it neighborhood real estate / community events. Right?
I'm writing that down.
Yeah. So they know they're going to get little nuggets of real estate, but I don't go in and get salesy or anything.
Yeah.
But I'll go in and welcome someone to the neighborhood. Hey, everybody, as we say goodbye to Carol and Denny, let's welcome, Matt and Michelle to the neighborhood. If you get a chance to stop by their new house on Glacier Pass, just give them a quick hi and welcome to the neighborhood. And we're glad you're here. Right?
Sweet.
Building community. So that's what I'm all about. And I feel like it's pretty easy because I'm present in their communities all the time.
I love it. I think that is, Traci, I did not ask you to be on today so I could come up with so I could pick your brain. I was really trying to stick to the market data, but holy cow.
I'm sorry.
No, I am very appreciative. I am think this is the first one
So
I've ever
Brenda, that's a great question.
Well,
Brenda, that's a great question. You know what? I clearly put in my closed Facebook group just for that subdivision that it is closed only for the residents of the subdivision, and that this is not associated with an HOA. The HOA can have their own thing, and that's for the HOA to put out the HOA information, right? So I don't ever pretend to be a part of the HOA or over the HOA or anything like that. This is purely a community building opportunity. And that's it.
Awesome. And will you send that to me too? Will you send me everything?
Everything.
So if anybody else wants it, I am sure Traci would love to.
I would love to. I would love to send it to anybody. I've even got it on Remax slides. I'm like, oh, you know me. I'm all Remax all the time.
I love it. So if you'll put your email address in the comments, then she could just email you everything that she has. If you don't mind, Traci.
Well, you can do that. You can text me at 314-803-6245, or you can send me an email, Traci, Traci.Palmero, Palmer with an O on the end, @remax.net.
I love it. Woohoo! Thank you, Traci. Thank you for your time. Please send me that email. I'm going to be looking out for it.
Okay.
And you are just, I'm feeling your positive energy. I mean, literally on the other side of the United States. So thank you.
Yes, absolutely. I love the opportunity to get together and chat. Tell me, is your market vibrant?
Yes. Yes. So we have a lot of people moving here from other areas. Because our prices are not as low as you, but for waterfront community, our prices are still pretty low, and our taxes are pretty cheap. And we do have seasons. We just have very mild seasons. Mm-hmm. So we're not like, snow doesn't really happen here. Mm-hmm. It does occasionally. But we don't even have salt for the streets. So we literally have nothing. Like if it snows, the entire town closes. I mean, if it just threatens one little flake, we all stop, which is fabulous. So a lot of people, when they come here, they get rid of their big, thick winter coats. We have about a month to 2 months of what I consider cold weather, where it gets like in the 40s, maybe high 30s at night. But during the day, it usually stays
nice,
pretty warm. So yeah, I think I mean, our real estate market, our numbers are, the prices have continuously gone up.
Yep, ours are
not going as quickly. I mean, last year, any time it was going up 20 to 30% year over year. Now we're down to like 5 or 6%. So it's still increasing. So slowed down a little bit, which is nice.
Yeah.
To breathe.
It's just an opportunity to breathe a little bit, let our signs stay in the yard like a day and a half.
Yes, that's right. That's exactly right. Yeah. So you're actually able to do your job as a real estate agent. You're actually able to show a house and negotiate deals and get them done. So it's phenomenal. I mean, I feel very grateful because 17 years going, and each year I continuously get a little bit better and do a little bit better. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I bow down to your greatness all the time. I mean, I watch you on social, and you are so good, so sweet, and so positive. I love seeing you on social.
Well, so my real personality is bitchy. No, I'm teasing. Everyone knows me knows that I do have a pretty dominant side too, but I try to be. It's I think in this industry, I guess a lot of industries, it's very, very emotional, right? So there's a lot of emotions. People love I mean, it's when you talk about somebody's house, it's like talking about their child a lot of times. So it's important for us as real estate agents to be able to step back and bring in like a little bit of logic in there. And I think that's kind of what my specialty is. So
yeah, I totally agree with you. Is that, I feel to be really good at this career, at this profession, you need to have a high adaptability quotient, be able to pivot quickly and smartly, but also have a high emotional quotient. You need to understand and feel the feels that your clients have, because buyers or sellers, they all have feels, right?
Yeah, they do. And it's so, you think they're buying the largest investment of their lifetime. And I feel so honored. Like, I just feel honored when somebody selects me as their buyer's agent or as their listing agent, because they're bringing me into their home. And that's what I was laugh and talk about past clients. They truly become my friends. They become
Yep.
part of my family. They're on my speed dial. It gets a
Mhm.
little crazy sometimes because now we're into the thousands. So, but my people know, I mean, they'll call me, they'll send me a text and be like, hey, Jennifer, I'm in Colorado for the weekend and I just saw that UPS delivered something to my house. You have an extra key. Can you go and put it on my kitchen countertop? And I'm like, sure, I'll be passing by your house in like 30 minutes.
Yep. Yeah.
But
And I love the fact that my clients still will call me and say, hey, I know that we've been here almost a year, but we've got this problem, and will the home warranty still work? And I'm like, yeah, I got you. I'll file the claim for you. And they're like, oh my God, you're amazing. So I feel like being that agent that sometimes trainers will say, you do too much. You do too much. That's not your job. Stay in your lane, just do your prospecting, blah, blah, blah. And I feel like I get the referrals from my extended family, past clients, that is because I go the extra step to be friends with them.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's so important because we spend so much time with them picking out the house or selling their house, marketing their house, or helping them find the perfect home.
Yeah.
That it's always amazing to me how many real estate agents are like, okay, bye after that. And I feel like after that, at that point, I feel like they are either one of my children or my best friend or my
Uh-huh.
brother or my sister or my father or mother, or
Right.
I mean, they definitely become part and a vast part of my family. And I agree with you. I mean, sometimes I do feel a little bit overwhelmed, but I love those questions. I love the questions after closing. Even,
I do
I mean,
too.
like last week, the past 3 months, I've gone to like 12 birthday parties for kids 3 and under. And I
Right.
think it's amazing. I'm always there. They always seem super excited that I came or surprised that I came. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I never would miss it. Like, what an honor that you're
Right.
inviting me to your child's birthday party. Like,
I know, right? I
that's,
just got an invitation to a wedding,
yeah.
and I just held a brand newborn. A client brought her newborn baby over, and oh my gosh, she had him 12 weeks early, so he was teeny tiny. But
Oh,
she's like, you've held every one of my kids
that's so
when they
sweet.
were brand newborns, and I'm just like, oh, all the feels, right?
That's super sweet. That's awesome.
Yeah, and it just kind of validates that I'm doing it right.
That's right. I 100% agree. I mean, I think we're in an industry that can be quickly overlooked, right? So I think it's
Mhm.
important. I think it's important for us to give back and to be there and to be there well
100%.
after the sale. So
Yep, 100%.
congratulations. I can't wait for that email from you because I am going to figure out how to adapt this. That is going to be one of the things I add to my to-do list this year. So
Absolutely, it's super fun.
I can't wait to pick your brain about it. So thank you so much, Tracy. I appreciate your time and I
You're
love
welcome.
everything.
I love spending some time with you. Let's do this again.
Let's do it. I can't wait.
I can't either.
I'll see you soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye.